Hey guys, how's it going? Just wanted to talk about some news that interested me a lot because it has to do with Star Wars, and as you may or may not know, I absolutely love Star Wars. And I'm a huge fan of everything that Disney has been doing with Star Wars since they bought the franchise in 2012, I believe, from Lucas for around $4 billion. And from episode 7 to the Star Wars Rebels cartoon to the books they've been putting out, the new canon. I've I've loved it all so far. And last year, the year before, started hearing about these anthology movies. The first of which comes out in December, which is Rogue One. Now, by an anthology movie, it's a standalone movie. It doesn't connect with, like episode 1 through 7, which is eventually going to be episode 1 through 9. And one of these rumored anthology movies at the time was a Boba Fett standalone movie, which obviously would be amazing. And the director attached to, well, they didn't come out and say he was attached to the Boba Fett movie, but Josh Trank was one of the directors being. They were talking about using him to direct one of the anthology movies. And though they didn't say it was going to be the Boba Fett movie, I always thought, and I think most people thought, that it was probably going to be the Boba Fett movie. Now, he was working on the Fantastic Four movie, and production seemed to be in a lot of trouble on that movie. Lots of different people wanting different things, and everyone pretty much knowing that movie was going to be terrible before it even came out. And it came out, and it was terrible. Now, I think even before the movie came out, Fantastic Four, Lucasfilm had dropped Josh Trank as the director of an anthology film. And it was announced recently that, actually within like the last day or two, that the Josh Trank anthology film they had planned on doing was the Boba Fett movie. So my suspicions and a lot of other suspicions were true. Now, whether or not this Boba Fett movie ends up being made is up in the air. I think it'd be a really good idea, but I don't want it to just be about Boba Fett. I want like a bounty hunter wars type of thing. If you're familiar with the old EU like I am, you would love something like this with gotta throw in Bosk and Dengar and IG-88, Forlom, and Zuckuss. Just throw them all in there. Aura Singh would be really cool too. But yeah, I'm hoping this movie gets made. I'm hoping there's another director they can use for this. Someone good. Not saying Josh Trank is bad, but I don't know how much of the finished product for Fantastic Four was Josh Trank's vision, but that movie is absolutely horseshit. So, I guess we'll see what happens with that. I'd like to see a Boba Fett movie if it's done the right way. Now, the second piece of news regarding Star Wars that came out today, I believe, apparently in January, Kathleen Kennedy, who's running Lucasfilm right now, saying how in January they're going to be getting together to discuss the type of Star Wars movies they want to be making. And there's a possibility that after episode 9, there won't be any more episodes. Like, none of the, 1 through 9. There won't be any of that anymore. And that will end the Skywalker Saga, they call it. Anakin Skywalker through Luke Skywalker through Leia and, all that. But, yeah, a lot of people are upset about this, but I don't really understand why. I mean, 9 movies of, this whole history of the Skywalker family I think it's enough. I'm okay with it. The Star Wars universe is gigantic. I don't know. I know not as many people are as immersed in it as me. I have a lot of friends who are, but I know a lot of people that aren't. And it's huge. There's so many movies they could do. Like I mentioned, Bounty Hunter Wars. They could do some Old Republic movies, which would be so freaking good. I'd be so happy. They could do so many things. And I don't understand why so many people are so upset. I mean, I would love to just see what they can do with this stuff. And just so much. I know technically the EU isn't canon anymore, but they're slowly making lots of the old EU official canon now. Like they just brought Grand Admiral Thrawn into the Star Wars Rebels cartoon, and he was pretty much one of the first new characters when they started the EU, back with the Thrawn trilogy. And there's just so much they could do. They could do something with Darth Bane. They could, they're talking about maybe a Yoda movie. I think it'd be kind of weird because no one really knows where he's from. But I guess a lot of it will depend on how Rogue One does. I think it'll make a lot of money. I don't think it's going to make as much as like Episode 7 did. Because I don't think the common moviegoer, your everyday moviegoer, is really familiar with what this movie is. That it's not Episode 8. It's not a sequel to Episode 7. It's a standalone movie focusing on how the Rebels, like how the Rebel Alliance formed and how it got the plans to destroy the first Death Star. Kind of a, I don't know, Magnificent Seven kind of thing. There's got to be a better analogy for it, but just a group of rebels that get together and do this thing. Group of badass rebels. But I guess a lot of what they'll do in the future with these Star Wars movies will have to do with how well Rogue One does. So I hope it does really well, because I love to see a lot of these side Star Wars stories be made into movies. There's almost an infinite amount of things they could do. Infinite amount of characters. Infinite amount of places. It would just be so amazing. And there's more I could mention that they can make stories out of off the top of my head. But I can't think of them off the top of my head right now. I meant to say. But I don't know. Hopefully they do something with that. But if they decide to make more Skywalker movies, I'll tune in for those too, obviously. I'm a Star Wars fanboy, and I always will be. So, yeah, I just thought maybe I'd make a video about that today because I found it interesting, and I know there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there, so yeah, hopefully you found it interesting too. Well, gotta take off now. If you like this video, like it, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a good day, have a great Thanksgiving, and may the Force be with you.